It's been reported that Shannon Sharpe has announced that he will be officially stepping away from a popular TV show, Undisputed, that featured himself and Skip Bayless. But Shannon Sharpe said he's stepping away. He's making his exit. It's so many reasons why I believe that this is happening. You can't really pinpoint one reason that this is happening. We're far from the days of traditional media. I think that Shannon Sharpe pretty much got spanked nationally in front of everybody by Kwame Brown after defending LeBron James. Shannon Sharpe is a company man. I think that there are hidden forces and who he's aligned with that's pushing him to be an ultra LeBron James fan, to be a part of the LBJTQ, and push this narrative that LeBron James is in the same realm as Michael Jordan. Those of us who have studied the game and true peers of the game, we know that LeBron James is not even remotely close to the basketball player that Kobe Bryant is. How Kobe Bryant worked tirelessly, studied the game, paid attention to detail, and, worked on one move over and over. Like, we can go on and on. But I think Shannon Sharpe goes to the extreme for LeBron James. Part of the reasons why he stepped away is because he was been a company man. And, people could disrespect him and say what they want. They can pretty much have their way with him. It's only but so much that he could really say, because he can't really express himself like that without being checked or without being fined or, now, of course, Shannon Sharpe has his own podcast, his own show, Club Shay Shay. Skip Bayless has his own show, his own podcast. Shannon Sharpe has his. So you could see that you could tell that they were both trying to distance themselves. I think that you'll see an instance where Skip Bayless probably announced his departure as well. Nobody is really watching these shows like that anymore, bro. Like, people want to see the real. They want to hear your honest opinion. And that is where I think LeBron James is going to struggle. You're going to see a lot of the Kwame Browns. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see Kwame Brown go on Club Shay Shay. Kwame Brown interviews Shannon Sharpe. I can see that happening. But I think that a lot of people, they try to manipulate a lot of the fans. And they think that a lot of fans are stupid. LeBron James, his post that he made on Instagram was very telling. It just goes to show you the narcissism, that he wants to be number one in the minds of everybody. He wants to be the GOAT over Michael Jordan when it comes to the Shannon Sharpe situation. He looked foolish defending LeBron James. He had no reason really to go at Kwame Brown. Out of all the people who's had opinions of LeBron James, why do you get upset at Kwame Brown because Kwame Brown, gave his opinion and said that LeBron James doesn't have a go-to move or LeBron James can't do this? You sit up there and attack and slander Kwame Brown and say that Kwame Brown is on the Mount Rushmore of bust players. But in the same breath, nobody has the same energy for when it comes to Kendrick Perkins. Kendrick Perkins wasn't this superstar athlete. He wasn't one of the best players in the world. But somehow or another, as long as you are going out there and you're praising and kissing LeBron James' butt, they have no issue with you because the machine has conditioned the masses to worship him, to view him as God. It's like a cult. The Kwame Brown situation was a nail in the coffin. I think Shannon Sharpe, in my honest opinion, I think that he felt like, man, like, I ain't have to do Kwame like that. He looked wrong in front of everybody, bruh. Kwame Brown spanked him, bruh. Kwame Brown embarrassed this man worldwide because everybody was looking like, man, Unc, you wrong. You sitting in front of this white man who's never played basketball on a professional level. You get upset with me because all I say is that LeBron James, doesn't have a go-to move, or Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant would have shot the ball. And what's happening is you got people like Kwame Brown starting to wake people up. So I think it's a number of reasons why Shannon Sharpe decided to walk away. The situation, with his house being robbed. It's just a new day. I think he wanted to venture off into his podcast. And we all know that him and Skip Bayless, they just have a friendship. They don't hang out. You see all the betting Mountain Dews and pretending as if they're real friends. You could tell they're just cordial and they're just pretending to have this, great relationship just to sell it to the public. It's not real. I think he felt wrong for the way that he mistreated Kwame Brown because he didn't have to take it there. There's so many players who aren't great that go on live television that has never really been a top athlete. Even Stephen A.Smith. You could be the worst basketball player in the world, and you could say nothing but great things about LeBron James. And the LBJTQ, they're going to fully support you. They're going to love you. They're going to say, oh, he's a great analyst. He's the best at what he does. But then you can have an athlete who's actually played the game. But then they'll say, oh, you hating because you critique them. It's backwards. Shannon Sharpe, he embarrassed himself publicly, bro. Shannon Sharpe trying to critique Kwame Brown and questioning his basketball judgment when he's actually played the game. If anything, Kwame Brown is the most qualified person to speak on it. Even when you think about some of the greatest coaches, some of the greatest coaches weren't the best basketball players. You know, you can make the argument that great basketball players don't make great coaches. But the fact that he is objective when it comes to LeBron James or any basketball player for that matter, they want to attack you. If he was saying something bad about Jordan, they wouldn't care. You shame this man and call him a bust when LeBron James has won championships with players who are a bust. You're a grown man worshiping LeBron James the way you do. It's sickening. I guarantee you once he gets his podcast, you're not going to see him drooling over LeBron James as much. They're trying to recreate what ESPN First Take was with Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith. But you can't recreate that type of energy in that time. You will never get that back. They're more so trying to convince people that LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan. But LeBron James is slowly revealing himself. He can't help himself. That's why he went to Instagram and put that post out. There are people on the payroll to push this narrative that him and Michael Jordan are in the same breath. It's just basic common sense because, like I said, all they do is they just repeat ESPN and all these other sports shows talking points, the Nick Wrights of the world. And that's why LeBron James is afraid to walk away. He's afraid to walk away because he knows that the Nick Wrights are going to go away. These people are paid to spread this message, to somehow convince people that LeBron James is in the same conversation as Michael Jordan. This is just common sense, bruh. If you replace LeBron James with Michael Jordan and you gave him, forget the Cleveland run, the first Cleveland stint out of it. If Michael Jordan had the teams and the talent that LeBron James had, bruh, he would have done more. If Michael Jordan played for the Miami Heat and played alongside Dwayne Wade, who's arguably top 3 greatest shooting guard of all time, who won a championship before LeBron James showed up. He won Finals MVP before LeBron James showed up. You give Michael Jordan, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, Ray Allen, and the rest of that squad. If Michael Jordan went up against that Dallas Maverick teams, he would have destroyed them. They like to compare, they like to say, oh, well, Kobe lost to the Dallas Mavericks too that year. But compare Kobe Bryant's team to what LeBron James had. Kobe didn't have nobody on that team who was just as great as Dwayne Wade. He didn't have the level of role players that LeBron James had that year. Now, it would have been a different story had the Chris Paul trade had not got vetoed and Kobe Bryant lost to the Dallas Mavericks that year. That would have been a different story because they would have added Dwight Howard and Chris Paul, and then they would have lost to the Dallas Mavericks. Here you have a guy who only won 4 championships on super teams and has never three-peated. All the times that LeBron James went to the NBA Finals, Michael Jordan would have won. When LeBron James went back to the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James is still going to the finals, when he went up against that Golden State Warriors team, you have to realize LeBron James was up 2-1 against that inexperienced Golden State Warriors team. LeBron had already won 2 titles before, so he knew what it takes. Nobody on that team knew what it took to win a championship. He knew. So it was no excuses. Michael Jordan would have defeated them with flying colors. Even with LeBron James' run with the Los Angeles Lakers, he's had more talent with his run with the Los Angeles Lakers. He's had more all-stars, more talent than Kobe Bryant had probably his entire career with the Lakers, especially post-Shaq. And he's come up short. All he got to show for being in Los Angeles is a bubble title. And then you heard Joe Budden say Michael Jordan didn't have to go against these same killers LeBron James went against. LeBron had to go against killers like Klay Thompson, had to go against killers like Kevin Durant, had to go against killers like Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and all these other guys. But the one thing you got to realize is that Michael Jordan would have took the killer up out him. They wouldn't have been those same killers had they went up against Michael Jordan. That's what y'all fail to realize. They was only killers because they beat LeBron. When it came to Michael Jordan, he was killing everybody because he was just that great. 9-time all defensive first team. They'll never speak about him defensively. They'll never speak about the scoring titles, the leadership. See, LeBron James understand he has nothing but a bunch of empty stats. He's been manufactured. So when you take away the voice pieces, that's it. There's nothing there but empty stats, numbers. You remove that, they're going to move on. They don't have nothing to talk about. There's no more praise. And he don't want to be forgotten. He want to be loved and adored like Kobe Bryant is. You're not number one on everybody's list. And you never will be. See, LeBron James got swept and he was embarrassed. He was embarrassed because they cheated for him and carried him all the way to the Western Conference Finals. To think that they would struggle against the Minnesota Timberwolves, then all of a sudden be able to just wash the Memphis Grizzlies, then wash a team in the Golden State Warriors, who was a far better team than the Timberwolves, make it make sense. He ain't that dude, bruh. Never three-peated on super teams. Both of the teams that he lost to in the NBA Finals, Kobe Bryant defeated them. In the Orlando Magic in '09, and that Boston Celtics super team, I say with air quotes.